To this session. Um, Before starting the session, I would like to express my gratitude everything, all kind of my perceptions to connect to my soul, and it helped me to change my diet. I transformed myself from a non-vegetarian person to a plant-based diet I have adopted in my life. When I learned to listen to my intuition, I could feel that this is not good for me. And after connecting myself with meditation, I could hear my inner voice more clearly, and that helped me to make right choices about my life in terms of what kind of higher education would be useful for me, which college, which job should I apply, uh, whom should I marry. So all these life's important choices that I could make from my soul's point of view, and by connecting with my intuition. So, friends, this is in a nutshell. I would like to say that meditation really helps us to connect to our deeper self, and always accept life with joy and with total surrender. So, here I am with all of you today, and yeah, so this is what I just want to say. And I got opportunity to work with so many women in my career, and I could teach meditation to them. I could see the transformation in their life also. Um, and all of the people, all some old age people, some young people who learned meditation, they also shared their transformational journeys. So uh, in so many in last 10 years, I've seen transformation in my life. I've seen transformation in others' life. So that has given me a larger perspective that how powerful this meditation is in our life, and it is a scientific process, and we just need to adapt ourselves and practice meditation daily. So that's it, friends, from my side. Today, I'm here to share with all of you about the key lessons and learnings from the book called Thousand Seeds of Joy, which has been written by Ananda Karunesh, and Mahadevi Lakshmi and Mahadevi Saraswati has channeled directly, and they have delivered these messages through Ananda Karunesh ji. So we are so grateful to Ananda Karuneshi for bringing us this wonderful ancient wisdom from goddesses Lakshmi and Saraswati. Um, so if so basically why this book has been written, and what is it that we are looking ahead. So I would like to share the presentation here. Uh, Vani Garu, can you help me if I can I share the presentation? Is it possible? I'm unable to share. So no issues. I'm unable to share. No problem. Let me share. So basically, Thousand Seeds of Joy book has been written with an intention that in this planet Earth, all the masters see that so much suffering is going on, and so much suffering is going on, and so many souls are coming and living their life in suffering. And nobody is getting the direction how to transform this suffering into a state of joy. So Mahadevi, Lakshmi, and Saraswati have tried to give. They have tried to give their own life stories to inspire humanity. Uh, that it is not that our life should be ending only with the suffering. We have opportunity to transform our sufferings into the state of joy when we learn to surrender in the present moment, and when we learn to accept everything in our life from the higher dimension, that we are from a higher self, and our soul has made all these choices to evolve at soul level. So when we learn to look at our lives at a higher perspective, we are in a state of transforming our suffering into joy. So this is what Mahadevi, Lakshmi, and Saraswati are trying to say, that all of the people who are suffering right now on the planet Earth, they should learn to transform their suffering with a state of joy. So now, for past more than 5,000 years, it has been seen that a lot of masculine energy has been dominating. So there is an imbalance in the energy. The feminine energy is not allowed to express. So in the coming times, more and more feminine energy will be leading. Feminine energy doesn't mean that a female. I would say it is like an energy, a quality which is available in both men and women. So this feminine aspect of each person is just lying. It is just hidden there, but not expressed fully. We have been using only one aspect, which is masculine, which is always aggressive or going out dominating. Um, uh, while the feminine is always very peaceful, intuitive, very joyful. So, how can we awaken ourselves to the feminine qualities that are there within us in the future? Because Mother Earth also is suffering. So, how the entire Mother Earth can transform? It can transform only when we, being human beings, learn to bring balance into our own nature by balancing both masculine and feminine qualities. So this is the need of the hour, that we have to awaken ourselves to the feminine qualities. Um, so this is the essence. Now, what is it that is stopping us to transform ourselves from suffering to joy? So it has been said that we human beings are made of uh, three things: our body, our mind, and soul feelings. So what happens is that our body has lot of emotions, and our mind comprises of lot of thoughts about the past that we have been living in the past many years. So our mind also has the aspect of subconscious mind, which gathers all the information from our past lives. What happens that when we are not connected with our soul feelings are the feelings of joy, compassion, love, gratitude. So these soul feelings are stored in our soul. So whenever we are disconnected from our soul, we mostly attach ourselves and see our lives from the perspective of our body and mind. And body and mind uh, always they keep an information about the past. So as a result, our mind becomes always agitated. It is not restful. Our bodies are always in pain, sometimes with diseases as well. As a result, we don't feel good and we suffer because our too much attachment with the past and the memories of it. What Mahadevi Lakshmi and Saraswati are saying to us that we must learn to detach ourselves from the body consciousness and mind consciousness and learn to connect ourselves with our breath. The moment we connect to our breath, we can connect to our soul and soul feelings, and also we can connect to our higher self. So uh, so as a result, our minds become silent and our bodies become restful, and we can experience the state of joy very soon when we learn to detach ourselves from the mind and body. So this is very simple, friends. That's what we have been learning uh, from our PSSM, that we should practice Anapanasati meditation. So when we practice Anapanasati, we connect to our breath, and our breath enable us to connect to the larger life force, cosmic energy, and we become peaceful and restful. So this is one of the important lesson of the thousand seeds of joy, that all of us must learn to connect to our soul feelings, our soul and higher self, by learning to detach ourselves from body and mind. Um, Another important lesson from Thousand Seeds of Joy, that uh, uh, we develop ego from our own childhood, specifically when we are children and we are not raised in true love, in the environment of love. We become introvert, and we become shy. We do not express our emotions, and we develop an introvert personality, and slowly we start creating a layer of ego, which uh, which is a combination of both negative emotions and thoughts, and beliefs, perceptions. So that dominates, the ego dominates into our personality. So ego is nothing but too much attachment about old beliefs, past thoughts, emotions. So that's where we create suffering in our life. So one lesson that Thousand Seeds of Joy say, that all the children should be raised in the environment of love. All the mothers should be cared with love when they are going through pregnancy, so that they can pay good attention to their children um, once they give birth to their babies. So that has so much huge impact on the life of children. So that is one important thing, that children should be raised in love so that they do not develop ego since childhood. what are the characteristics of ego? How do we say that we have an ego? So there are 2 to 3 characteristics that has been mentioned. We can easily identify our ego. One is ego is always interested in seeking permission from people. Ego is interested to please others. So, so whenever we find ourselves that we are not authentic and we are uh, not truly following our inner voice, our inner self, and instead of following our intuition, we make a choice to follow the instructions of others just to seek their permission, just to please others. It means that we are in a state of ego. That creates a different kind of um, a different kind of war within ourselves, because our soul want to be authentic, and for our soul want us to follow the inner voice and intuition, and our ego want us to follow the voice of outside people, just to maintain an inauthentic connection with others. So we should be mindful that we should never do like this. We should always give priority to our inner voice and intuition. This is one very important lesson that Mahadevi, Lakshmi, and Saraswati says to us. One important message Mahadevi Saraswati says by sharing her life journey. One day, what happens? There was some little conflict between Mahadevi Saraswati and Lord Brahma. So, in that conversation, she Devi Saraswati made a choice that she wanted to open her heart and speak from her heart, express her anger, whatever she was going through. So other people who were around her didn't feel good because she was angry and expressing. So uh, after seeing the reaction of others, she made it clear that the reason I have made a choice to express my anger, because I want to give this message to all other women that they should not suppress their emotions. They should freely express whatever they are feeling in their heart without any need for permission and approval, and without any need to please others. One should follow their heart, trust the heart voice, and just simply express whatever you are feeling in your heart. So Mahadevi Saraswati did say that in your relationship with your spouse or any important relation in your life, of course we should be mindful of the dignity of the other person while expressing our emotions. But in the fear that if I express my emotion, how other person would feel, if we make a choice to suppress ourselves, and if we don't express, we create a kind of lower energy, a kind of negative energy for our own self, and which is not good, and which creates a negative karma for our own self, and we cannot forgive for we cannot forgive our own self if we don't give respect to our own selves. So Mahadevi Saraswati is simply making a request to all of us that do not suppress your emotions. Just go with the follow your heart. No, it is mine. So yes, so far we have looked at why this book has been written, and how can we transform the state of suffering to the state of joy, and the combination of uh, mind, body, and soul feeling, importance of expression into our relationship, what is ego and how does it develop, importance of raising children in the environment of love. Now I would like to give example of soul feelings and importance of soul feelings. Sometimes you see that somebody gives you a compliment that the work you have done is great, or the food you have cooked is delicious. But their words do not reach to our heart. We do not feel true in our self. Um, uh, so though they are speaking their with their body language, they're using their mind. Somewhere we don't connect to what they are speaking. So uh, this is the situation where the soul feelings are absent because that person do not have soul feelings while he or she is speaking, and that's why we are unable to connect. So whenever we do any work, we should always align our body, mind, and soul feelings. Then we can create a larger impact and manifest what we really want to do in our lives. So that's the importance of aligning with our soul feelings along with our mind and body. Um, just 1 minute. Yes. So 1 minute. Huh? Yeah, so basically now I have just shared you the how ego plays. So now in this book, Mahadevi Lakshmi has shared her series of past lives. She incarnated as goddess Sita with Lord Ram. She incarnated as Draupadi and Radha with Lord Krishna, and she incarnated as Yashodhara with Lord Buddha. So, in all these three different lifetimes, she had different experiences. And according to Mahadevi Lakshmi, the various holy scriptures of Mahabharata, Ramayana, the this these books have not been able to successfully capture the actual information that actually happened. So basically, Mahadevi Lakshmi has tried to give original information, what actually happened and what she felt at that time. So at the time of incarnation as a Sita, so she gives information that what actually happened, how Lord Rama behaved with her, and so she gives an information that she was not rejected after she come from Lanka after the war. Lord Rama supported her, and he didn't believe all the rumors about Devi Sita. In fact, he supported her, trusted her, and it was just that Devi Sita wanted to spend time with their children in the nature. She used to travel a lot to the forest, and Lord Rama wanted to stay back in palace and wanted to take care of his kingdom. So people used to had rumors that Lord Ram and Sita are not staying together, and that's how they were creating wrong stories about their relationship. But actually, everything was excellent between them. Um, uh, that was one rumor that Devi Sita wanted us to inform. Um, while while she was taken by Ravan and she was taken to Lanka. Initially, she said that she was feeling lonely and not happy. Later on, she transformed her state of suffering into a total surrender. She accepted that at a higher level, she made a choice. All the events that are happening in her life are part of her soul choice. She made all these decisions at a higher level, and she should not fear. She should not feel suffering. And from that acceptance, she started living her life with lot of joy. She started practicing meditation to increase her vibration and connect with Lord Rama uh, in higher dimensions. She used to write poems and sing songs, and she was joyful and happy, even though she was living away living far away from Lord Rama, because she was so much connected to her inner self, soul, her higher self, all the different angels, and she was constantly increasing her vibration. So that gave her strength to face that situation, and that's how she could transform her state of suffering into joy. Then it was asked that why Lord Rama had to take a lot of time, why he had to go through a long time of fight, uh, and you were just simply staying in Vatika, and you were able to transform your state of suffering into joy. Why Lord Ram took so much long time to get enlightenment? So uh, there, Devi Sita responses that so basically Lord Rama actually developed a, a layer of ego because of the kind of environment where he was growing, where his inner self was saying something different, but he had that belief that he has to seek permission from his parents, he has to obey the instruction of his parents, and he also developed a belief that uh, he cannot achieve anything easily, he has to fight for it. So this kind of belief, the layer of ego in him, which where he wanted to please his parents, there was an inner war going on in Lord Rama, which manifested into external war with Ravana. And so all these years he was not listening to his inner self, his higher self. He was always focusing on building his external muscles, on how to fight and become stronger in the war. When Lord Rama saw that Ravana was very strong, and every time Lord Rama is throwing the arrow, he couldn't kill Ravana. When Lord Ram surrenders and accepts the fact that he is unable to do it, then suddenly Lord Rama connects to his inner self and his higher self, and then he receives a message from his higher self and masters that he should hit the arrow at the third chakra, at the navel of the Ravana, in case if we want him to kill. The moment Lord Rama connects to his higher self, inner self, he receives a message, and that's how he could throw the arrow at the third chakra and he could win the war. But when he was throwing that arrow, he looked at Ravana as part of his own self. He accepted him as his own soulmate, and with lot of compassion, he threw the arrow, and that's how he could win the war. So this is the importance of listening to inner voice, and how when we connect to our inner voice, we receive messages from our higher self in the difficult situations, and that's how we can, uh, you know, we can come out of the major challenges in our life when we learn to pay attention to our inner voice and our higher self. And yeah, so this is one example where how to come out of our ego and follow the authentic inner voice. Here, one important aspect, Lord Ravana, he was also a great master. So, though he was enlightened, uh, but somewhere he was stuck in the first three chakras. He couldn't transform his first three chakras. He developed a lot of ego that he has achieved a lot of siddhis, and as a result he was suffering. He couldn't get the enlightenment. So that's how Ravana took a birth to work on his first three chakras and get enlightenment. And when he was when so when he the arrow was shot and it hits in his navel at the third chakra. That's how Ravana gets enlightenment at the time of death. Of course, he dies, but before death itself, he experiences enlightenment because of Lord Ram. So, this thousand seeds of joy gives a new information about chakras that every uh, uh, every human being on earth, uh, we all are evolved in the higher planes, and our all other chakras above, all other chakras from like heart chakra onwards, they are open in higher dimensions. The reason why we come to Mother Earth, planet Earth, is we want to work on the first three chakras. So that is our assignment, to come to Earth School and work on our first three chakras. And 90% of the human beings need to work on this assignment. So this particular book also gives information about importance of each chakra and how to open up that chakra. So the first chakra deals with the physical aspect, like the food, shelter, in relationship, our health. All these things relate to our physical aspect of it. So, though we want to experience good food, shelter, relationship, health, but we experience completely different. We become ill, we don't experience joy in our relationship, we don't find good quality of food, we don't find good shelter. Reason being, our first chakra is not open. So, what are the ways we can open up our first chakra? So, it was mentioned that we are here on earth because of our mothers. So, the people who do not enjoy great connection and relationship with the mothers, in their entire life they can't open up their first chakra. So, anyone who is interested to open their first chakra, they must connect with their mothers, develop a strong bond of love and connection and compassion. With the blessings of mother, our first chakra open up. Second is connect with the mother earth, because mother earth also represents food, shelter. Um, um, so when we connect to nature and mother earth also gives us a lot of energy and blessing, and our first chakra opens up. Another way to open our first chakra is when we eat prana food, plant-based food, eat fruits and vegetables, which has a lot of prana. Our first chakra get nourished, and it opens up. Rather, if we choose to eat less prana food like junk food or animal diet. So it it creates more aggression and negative energy, and that's how we become ill. So yeah, so eating leafy vegetables, fruits, taking care of our health, and connection with our mother, connection with our planet can help us to ground with our mother earth and open our first chakra. So this is all about our first chakra. So now about the second chakra. The second chakra deals with our emotional health. So we need to understand what do we mean by emotions. So let's give you example like for example, myself and my sister, we both are eating banana, and I like banana. I like the taste of banana. So after eating banana, I feel good because I like it. So my liking is leading me to have a positive feeling about banana. My sister may not like the banana, so after eating banana, she's not liking it, and after eating it, she is not feeling good about it. So all the likes and dislikes, all the positive, negative emotions, feelings are stored in our second chakra. So that deals with our emotional health. So whenever our second chakra is not balanced, we feel a lot of emotions. We become too much emotional. We become angry and violent in our expression, and sometimes the quality of our skin tone, our hair, deteriorates because of our too much high emotional imbalance. So when our second chakra is in balance, we will have a good quality of hair and our skin will be good. So yeah, so that is about second chakra. And third chakra is all about it's about our mental health, our worldview, uh, our thoughts. So it is directly, the third chakra directly is it is connected with our mind. So all the thoughts about our past and future are stored over there. So the more we are attached to the thoughts of past and negative memories of it, our worldview is blocked. The moment our worldview is blocked, our ability to see things as it is with fresh eyes goes away, and we start always seeing everything from a different lens from the past, not from the present moment. So this is how all the three chakras are, and how we can open up all these chakras. So in order to open our third chakra, which is related to our mind and our thoughts, so masters like Devi Lakshmi and Saraswati, they say that always open up your mind and learn to see things by transforming your worldview. What do we mean by worldview? For example, if I like particular color, I would say I love this color. I don't love this color. I like this job. I don't like this job. I like these people. I don't like this people. I like this place. I don't like it. So um, uh, all this liking, disliking is coming from our thoughts, because I have labeled them as good and bad. This labeling is actually stopping me to see things. We should always come out of these labels, belief system, which is stopping us to see things as they are. And when we transform our worldview, we start feeling better about them, and we create a new reality. So, in order to create a brand new life, we must transform our worldview about everything in our life, our belief system, our perceptions. The moment we transform our worldview, that positive thoughts, the new thoughts will send energy to our second chakra, and we feel good in the second chakra. We feel positive emotions, and when we feel positive emotions in our second chakra, we act positively by using our first chakra, by using our body. So it is quite interlinked, friends. If we are acting negatively, somewhere we are feeling negatively. And the reason of feeling negatively is somewhere our mind is blocked, our worldview is blocked. So this is the interrelationship between first three chakras. So the starting point is third chakra, the transformation of worldview need to happen. And this can only happen when we learn to develop curiosity in our life, when we learn to question our own belief system, when we learn to shed all the belief systems which are no longer relevant, and when we practice meditation, it helps us to clear up our mind from all the unwanted thoughts. So that's how we transform our mind and emotions and our life. So this is very much important. And one important thing that I just last 2 3 examples, then I will proceed ahead with our meditation practice. So Devi Lakshmi says that in order to manifest what you desire, all of us must develop a state of gratitude. The reason is, if we don't have state of gratitude, we are not in a state of receiving. We so one person asked that, imagine I have if I am going through a traumatic situation in life where maybe I have lost my child, I've lost my job, or somebody has cheated upon me. So how can I feel grateful in such difficult situations? So it was answered like this, like, of course, the people who have done good to you, they have given you good memories, good experiences. So first thank them that they have given you great memories and experiences. The people who have given you bad experiences, we should treat them as friends of our life, and say thank you that because of you, I have been able to experience this lesson. And when we learn to express our gratitude to each good and bad experience and each person in our life whom we come across, we can come out of this all good and bad labels, beliefs, and that's how we can transform all our thoughts, and we can transform our worldview. When we can transform our worldview, we can feel good and we can feel gratitude in ourselves when we are thanking everything in our life. So so that is a level of feeling where universe is ready to listen to us, and at the level of gratitude, with no feeling of lack, whatever we desire, there are more chances of manifesting things with a state of gratitude. One important thing we should remember, sometimes we don't like our mobile, we don't like our car, we don't like our house. We say that I am not liking it, I don't have mobile, I want a new mobile. So when we desire from the state of lack, we create more lack. So in order to manifest anything that we desire, we should be mindful that, am I in a state of lack? Am I creating a lack energy, or am I grateful to whatever I have in my life? So gratitude and surrender to the present moment is a very important lesson that we learn from Thousand Seeds of Joy. So these were the key points that I want all of you to remember. So connecting to our inner self, higher self, being in the state of gratitude and surrender, being in the present moment, are the really, really important lessons. Uh, One thing that I want to say, that in a story of Mahabharata, um, it was said that all the people in Mahabharata, actually it was a divine plan, and everybody were playing their role except Karna, and Karna couldn't listen to his inner voice and higher self. As a result, he couldn't forgive Draupadi, and as a result, he chose to be with Kauravas. And so his destiny was to listen to his inner voice and forgive Draupadi and support Pandavas, but he didn't exactly. He did exactly opposite of it. He didn't listen to his soul, his higher self, because he was in a state of anger that Draupadi rejected me, my mother rejected me. So all these negative emotions from his childhood stopped him to forgive Draupadi, and that created a different outcome in the Mahabharata. So, so there are so many possibilities when we listen to inner voice. Some different results are created. When we don't listen to our inner voice and connect to our higher self, different results are created. So basically, yes, we need to listen to our intuition and connect to our soul. And when we connect to our soul and intuition, we are always in a state of joy and gratitude and love, and we can lead our life with everything that we want to create. So, friends, now I will invite all of you to be in a comfortable posture. Either you can sit on a chair, or you can have anything on the floor, and then you sit on it and be completely comfortable in your body. You can clasp your fingers like this and cross your legs like this, and you can take the back support. If and you all you have to do is just close your eyes and focus on your incoming and outgoing breath. You do not need to chant any mantras. You do not need to visualize any god. Simply focus on your incoming and outgoing breath. We will be practicing meditation for 10 minutes. Do not open your eyes. Till I say, please do not open your eyes. I'll be playing a beautiful music for all of you. Do not open your eyes. Close your eyes. Focus on your incoming and outgoing breath. My dear friends, we are going to practice meditation. Do not open my Do not open your eyes, my dear friends. I'm Simply focus on your incoming and outgoing breath. Imagine lot of cosmic energy is entering into your body. Just feel the natural breath, your incoming breath and outgoing breath. Do not open your eyes, my dear friends. With meditation, we receive excellent health, peace of mind, growth in our intellect, bliss in our soul, and connection with the higher self. Just focus on your incoming and outgoing breath, my dear friends. Let the thoughts come and go. Do not attach yourself to any thoughts. Just focus on your incoming and outgoing breath. Thank you, all the masters, for giving us such a wonderful life and teaching us meditation. Let's thank Mahadevi Lakshmi and Saraswati for sharing us such a wonderful wisdom. Meditation gives rest to our mind. My dear friends, do not open your eyes till I say okay. Last 5 minutes, do not open your eyes. Simply focus on your incoming and outgoing breath. Just focus on the incoming and outgoing breath, my dear friends. Meditation helps us to connect with our soul, with our higher self. Our soul knows everything. Our higher self knows everything. Meditation helps us to channel a lot of energies and manifest everything that we desire. My dear friends, just focus on your incoming and outgoing breath. Last 2 minutes, do not open your eyes. Just focus on your incoming and outgoing breath, my dear friends. Just focus on your natural breath, my dear friends. Do not open your eyes. Last 1 minute, my dear friends. Last 30 seconds. Last 10 seconds. Put both of your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly, slowly, take your time. Open your eyes. Thank you so much, friends, for practicing Anapanasati meditation. This is one of the simple meditation techniques, and it is really transformational and scientific. I recommend everyone to practice this meditation. Take a challenge of 41 days and practice meditation as per your age. Anyone above the age of 5 can practice meditation. 5-year-old child should practice 5-minute meditation. 10-year-old person should practice 10 minutes meditation. And a 30-year-old person should practice 30 minutes meditation every day without fail. You can practice meditation at any time which is convenient for you. Morning, afternoon, evening, before sleep. Any place which is peaceful and where you can sit without any disturbance. Inside house, like outside house, while travel, during the time, like when you are in bus, train, flight, any place, you can practice meditation. So thank you so much, friends. I hope all of you have received some new wisdom today. from the book Thousand Seeds of Joy. And thank you everyone for listening to us. And thank you Gnanamitra platform and all the masters